Welcome to Conversations with the Cast. I'm Jeremy Jenkins, one of the head writers on Liminal. To my left,
I'm Sassy and I was one of the writers on No Road To Neom.
And I'm Nina Hari-Rajan, and I was one of the writers on X-ILE. So all of our films are completely different. So I mean, what was the writing process like for you guys?
well, the writing process on Liminal sort of, it started out by taking the hero's journey structure and sort of just developing from there, thinking, okay, so here's the general story idea that we have. This is where we could go with it. How can we pick out every individual beat of the plot according to the hero's journey timeline? And then once we'd laid that out, we then played around with it, sort of trying to write through scenes, go through the script, see what worked, see what didn't, figured out which parts of the script, which beats needed changing. And then we went through it, revised it, kept writing and writing and writing. And then eventually we wound up with a finished first draft and then kept editing.
It's a lot to go through just for a first draft, isn't it?
Well, my relationship with the hero's journey is quite different to following it beat by beat. My co-writer Jeremy and I, we have a very distinct but matching writing style where we just kind of flow with each other, and it doesn't always directly follow each single like element of the hero's journey, but it does follow like the general structure of it, which is obviously different to the way you guys do it because, you know, you followed it like beat by beat. Did you find that you followed it beat by beat?
That was exactly like us. So we were completely unstructured. Like my co-writer Will, he would do like the beginning half and I would do the end half, and we're like, oh, like this doesn't even match up. Like we need to write this together. So that was definitely something that, I mean, it was a bit of a struggle, but working together, like I cannot stress how important that is. Otherwise it's just going to be completely like all over the place. Like he had a different storyline and I had a different storyline. I'm like, what are we doing with this? But yeah, I mean, it came together in the end.
Cooperation is so important, especially in a writing team.
Right, yeah.
Because the second you've got two different conflicting views of how the story should move forward, then the whole writing process really just starts to fall apart at the seams, and you've got to, you know, go back to the basics and figure out, okay, how can we come to a compromise on this? What
Did you guys find it difficult writing with another person, or did you like enjoy doing it with someone else?
In a sense, I mean, we have obviously like very differing points of views and like what we believe should be written into the story. But obviously, like if I ever had something, I was like, oh, like I don't know what to write, Will would help me out with that. And if that was the case with him, I would help him out. And if we both had no idea what was going on, we go to our director. So we kind of had like a lot of voices coming into it. But yeah, I mean, it's good to have someone on board, even though you do have differing views.
Yeah, it was much the same on Liminal, because I would sit down to write and then I'd go through a scene, but then I wouldn't be sure where to go in the next one, and then I would just message Keone and go, Keone, what sort of ideas do you think we could work with in this next scene? Do you reckon this could work? And then often we'd get on phone calls with the director and say, okay, so this is what we're thinking. What do you think of that idea? Could we move forward with that? And so working alone is good for being able to get a clear creative vision across, but working cooperatively is so much better for being able to get a good, efficient workflow and being able to get such a wide variety of ideas to create a good story.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Jeremy and I, this is our second film we've written together, and it's so good having someone there to like have your back when you like, because we don't often write together, but like that's just like how we write together. It really contradicted itself. No, but when we write, we do it at separate times. But you know, if I was writing something and then I'd struggle with it, or if I stopped at, you know, halfway through a scene I felt passionate about, but then didn't know where to go from there, I could always just call Jeremy and be like, well, do you have any idea what you want to do? Because I'm struggling here. And he'd always be like, yeah, well, how about we do this? And then, you know, it just goes from there. And like we edit each other's work throughout it, and it just, it's a really good having someone there to like have your back.
Did you find it difficult to kind of schedule your times to meet with each other? Because I know with me and Will, Like it was like if I was like, okay, Will, I need some help, and he's like, oh, I'm busy at the moment, but can I help you later? Like, okay, but I'm busy later. Like, was it difficult to try and find a mutual time?
I'm glad that we didn't really have that struggle too much. You know, like obviously neither of us are in uni like you and Will, so we didn't have that sort of time constraint and restrictions on us. It was just usually like pre-planning when we could call, and like after Sunday be like, hey, what night are you free? Let's call then. And then just sticking to that and having like a 3-hour call and, you know, working through stuff and then writing and just doing all that idea generation. So we didn't have any struggles with that, thankfully. How about you?
Yeah, just specifically in regards to writing, we didn't really have any problems with organizing time.
So that's just us. Okay.
Both Keone and I have a lot of spare time on our hands, so we would just write. There were a couple of times where one of us would go, oh, actually, I can't do that time, but it wasn't a regular occurrence that one of us would just say, I can't make the call. In production with the whole cast and crew, it became more difficult, but specifically in regards to writing, it was quite easy to organize times for our group at least.
That's really good to hear. Well, obviously writing it means it's our babies, you know, it's close to our hearts. What was it like seeing it like from right at the beginning all the way to like on set and actually see our stories being brought to life? What was that like for you guys?
It's ridiculous because you have such a vision when you're writing it. And like, there's like a part of you that's kind of like, oh, like, is it really going to turn out to be like this? And then you get onto set and you see how it's all dressed up and you're like, oh my God, like we did this, like that's amazing. So that's something that's really rewarding, and you just get like very like, oh, like go us, well done. And you get so happy. So that was really good. That was a really good feeling.
Yeah. How about you, Jeremy?
Yeah, just going on to set on that first day and then seeing those first shots being done and going, wow, that's exactly how I saw that, and that's how it's going to be made. That's what's going to be presented in the film. It was just really special to just be able to see the thing that I'd been working on and developing just come to life in front of my eyes on the set.
And there's something so different about actually like performing it, and then you see like a little scene and like how it looks on camera.
Absolutely,
it's so like, I'm like, oh my God, I did not expect it to look that good, but that's like, it's amazing, isn't it?